Archangel Michael says, the air around you is shifting, and it's not without reason. There are shadows moving quietly, watching your every step, calculating the moment you will be caught off guard. They are working together, not out of kindness, but to push you into a decision that will bind you in ways you cannot yet see. This plan has been in motion for longer than you imagine. Their conversations are not in public but behind closed doors, in whispers and coded language. Every move is designed to corner you into thinking the paper they put before you is harmless. They will dress it up with promises and convincing smiles. They will make it look official, clean, and even beneficial for you. But hidden inside are words that twist your future into something you cannot escape. You must pause before you even touch a pen. You must step back before the ink of your signature becomes the lock on a door you can never open again. Archangel Michael says, the trap is close. Closer than you think, and now is the time to act with unshakable caution. Blessing 333. They may present themselves as friends, colleagues, or even well-wishers. But behind that mask lies the mind of a predator waiting for the moment you relax. They are banking on your trust, knowing that your guard lowers when someone appears genuine. One of them is the voice of persuasion. This person will sit with you, speak softly, and lead you to believe they're helping you. They are the one who will slide the paper across the table when the moment feels natural. Another is the silent enforcer. They will watch from a distance, ensuring there's no escape once you agree. Their role is to control the environment so you feel there's no other choice but to sign. The third is the architect of the trap. Their mind has built the structure of this deception from the ground up. Every clause, every hidden term is designed to take something from you without your knowledge. Blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, they know the value of what they're after. It's not just about money, it's about control. It's about placing you in a position where your power becomes theirs. They've studied your patterns, your routines, and your emotional triggers. They know when you're most vulnerable, after an exhausting day, during a moment of stress, or in a state of distraction. That's when they'll approach with urgency, telling you the paper must be signed immediately. Do not rush. Do not let their false urgency dictate your actions. Urgency is the weapon of those who want you blind to the fine print. Their smiles will be rehearsed. Their tone will be warm, even compassionate. But beneath it lies the hunger to own a piece of your life you cannot get back. Blessing 555. They may offer incentives to sweeten the deal. A promise of financial gain, a quick solution to a problem, or a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But these gifts are laced with hooks that will dig deep into your future. Archangel Michael says, you must remember this moment before it happens. See the image clearly, the table, the paper, the pen waiting. Feel the weight in the room as eyes watch you from every angle. Your refusal will shake them. They have built their confidence on the belief that you will comply. Breaking their expectation will fracture their unity. But be prepared, they may not stop after the first attempt. This is a layered plan, and if one method fails, another will follow. You must be vigilant, not for a day, but for as long as this storm circles around you. Blessing 999. They will find ways to make it feel like signing is the easiest path forward. They'll speak about removing burdens, solving issues, and creating opportunities. But every promise they give is a thread in the web that has already been spun for you. The location they choose will not be random. It may be a place you know well, somewhere you feel safe, to lower your guard. It may also be in a rushed setting, where they use noise, distractions, and pressure to stop you from thinking too clearly. Archangel Michael says, they are skilled in turning comfort into a weapon. They understand that familiarity creates trust, and trust makes the hand move faster toward a signature. This is why you must see beyond the surface and listen for the silence that hides behind their words. Blessing 333. They may not even hand you the paper directly at first. Instead, they will slip it into a stack of other harmless documents. They'll bury the danger between pages that look routine, hoping you won't notice the one that matters most. They are counting on your habit of skimming instead of reading every word. They want you to believe it's just a formality, something that needs no second thought. But this is the exact moment where your awareness can save you. In their minds, they have already claimed victory. They've envisioned you walking away, the paper in their possession, the trap sealed. What they haven't accounted for is your rising sense of caution. They don't know that you are being warned. They don't know that their plan is already unraveling because light is shining on their hidden intentions. That is the advantage you now hold. Blessing 444. They will approach you when you are tired. Late in the evening, after a long day, or during a moment when you are mentally occupied with something else. It's not an accident, they want you too exhausted to analyze the truth. This is why you must prepare yourself now. You must build the habit of slowing down, no matter how rushed they make the moment feel. You must train your eyes to scan for danger, even in the most ordinary text. Archangel Michael says, the language inside the paper will not be obvious. It will be layered, disguised, and wrapped in professional terms. Hidden in those lines will be the real price they expect you to pay. You may notice words that seem vague or unusually broad. You may see a section that grants them power without limit. These are not mistakes, they are the core of the trap. Blessing 555. One of them may even pretend to protect you. They'll act like they are on your side, pointing to sections and explaining them in a way that sounds safe. But their role is to guide your attention away from the danger. They may say things like, "This is standard," or "Everyone signs this," to make you feel foolish for hesitating. They may laugh off your concerns, creating a sense of pressure to just get it over with. This psychological push is as dangerous as the paper itself. The truth is, once you sign, the power shifts. Your words, your protests, even your regret will not change the ink already on the page. That's why the moment before you sign is the moment you must own completely. Archangel Michael says, your decision to refuse will feel like a wall they cannot climb. It will dismantle their script, shatter their timing, and force them into the open. And once they are exposed, their unity will fracture. Blessing 999. They have already rehearsed the moment in their minds. Each person in the group knows exactly what line they will say and what expression they will wear. It will feel natural to you, but in reality, it is a carefully staged performance. They will use timing as their strongest weapon. They might wait for a moment of celebration in your life, a small victory, a new opportunity, to present the paper. When your guard is lowered by happiness, your defenses can weaken without you realizing it. Archangel Michael says, the most dangerous moment is not when you feel fear, but when you feel safe. Because safety can create blindness, and blindness is exactly what they need to succeed. They are counting on you to sign without truly seeing. Blessing 333. Do not be fooled by the paper's appearance. It may be printed on expensive parchment, with gold edges or embossed logos to make it seem important. They may even use official seals and stamps to give it weight and authority. But a trap can wear fine clothing. A cage can be painted in gold and still be a cage. The elegance of the document is there to disarm you, not to protect you. They will speak in confident tones, never hesitating as they guide you through each line they want you to see. But notice how they will quickly skim past the sections they don't want you to focus on. That is where the danger lives. Your task is not to follow their rhythm. Your task is to slow the moment down until they grow uncomfortable. In discomfort, they will reveal more than they intend. Blessing 444. The group is not random. Each person has a role in your manipulation. One will speak for the plan, another will support it, and another will remain silent, watching every reaction you make. They know that silence can be more persuasive than words. That silent one is often the most dangerous. They are the one reading you, adjusting the plan in real time based on your hesitation or your trust. They feed the others cues without you realizing it. Archangel Michael says, do not mistake stillness for weakness. The quietest one in the room may hold the most power over the situation. And if you confront them, the entire performance may crumble. Their patience is a sign that they believe you will eventually give in. But you are not here to give in. You are here to break the cycle before it tightens around you. And you will do it by refusing to be rushed. Blessing 555. They may pretend to give you time to think, but even that is a tactic. By allowing you a short pause, they hope you will feel they are reasonable, that they care about your choice. But in reality, they are simply giving you enough rope to walk willingly into the trap. If you try to take the paper away to review it privately, they may resist. They might say it's not allowed, that the rules require signing in the moment. This is a clear sign that something inside is meant to stay hidden. Archangel Michael says, trust your inner alarm. If you feel even the smallest discomfort, honor it. Because discomfort is the whisper of truth trying to get your attention. Every signature changes the path of your future. And once that ink touches the page, the change cannot be undone. That is why the power is in your decision before you sign. Blessing 999. They will not come at you all at once. The first approach will be soft, casual, and wrapped in friendly conversation. It will feel like nothing more than a chat over coffee or a brief discussion in a hallway. Then, days or even weeks later, the second step will come. A new reason will appear, something urgent, something time-sensitive. They will use this as an excuse to reintroduce the paper into your life. Archangel Michael says, this is the layering of pressure. It starts small, then grows until it feels like the only way forward is through their document. But there is always another way, and you must be prepared to take it. Blessing 333. They will disguise their intent as an opportunity. They might say it's a partnership, a deal, or a chance to secure something valuable. But behind the pleasant words, they are only securing your loss. Sometimes they will even create a false problem, one that doesn't actually exist, so they can present the paper as the solution. This trick works on those who accept what they're told without checking the facts. You must never take their words at face value. Your best weapon is silence. When they speak, listen without committing. Let them fill the space with their justifications until they reveal the cracks in their story. Blessing 444. One of them may act like they're doing you a personal favor. They will say things like, "I didn't have to bring this to you, but I thought of you first." They want you to feel indebted to them before you even know the cost. This is psychological bait. It works by making you believe you owe them something. And when you feel like you owe, you are more likely to agree without resistance. Archangel Michael says, "You owe nothing to those who seek to chain you." Kindness used as a hook is not kindness at all, it is manipulation dressed in warm colors. See it for what it is, and you will not fall into the net they cast. They may not expect you to walk away. Your refusal will stun them, as if the ending they wrote in their minds suddenly vanished. And in that moment, their power over you will weaken. Blessing 555. Once they realize you are resisting, they may become desperate. They might increase the urgency, insisting that you will lose something if you don't sign now. They may even bring in another person to pressure you from a different angle. But desperation makes mistakes easier to see. They may speak too quickly, contradict themselves, or reveal details they meant to keep hidden. This is your chance to gather the truth. Archangel Michael says, "The longer you hold your ground, the more the truth will rise to the surface." They can hide lies in papers, but they cannot hide the tremor in their voices when their plan is failing. Your strength will be the mirror that shows them their own intentions. Blessing 999. When they see that direct persuasion is failing, they will shift their strategy. They may try to make you feel isolated, as though everyone else has already agreed except you. They will present this as proof that you are overthinking or being difficult. They might even bring examples of other people who supposedly signed without issue. Some of these examples may be real, others entirely fabricated. The goal is to make you doubt your instincts and replace them with false confidence in their plan. Archangel Michael says, "Your instincts are your divine alarm." They ring for a reason, and ignoring them is the same as opening the door to danger. You must hold on to that signal even when others try to drown it out with noise. Blessing 333. They may send someone you trust to deliver the paper next time. It could be a friend, a colleague, or a family member who doesn't even realize they are being used. By placing the trap in familiar hands, they hope your caution will fade. This is one of their most effective tactics, because loyalty and love can weaken vigilance. But you must remember, even the messenger may not know what they carry. The danger lies in the document, not always in the person who delivers it. If you refuse again, they will sense that time is running out. They might attempt one last push, combining flattery with urgency. They will speak of your talents, your importance, and how much you are needed, all to distract you from the reality of the signature they want. Blessing 444. They could even go so far as to disguise the paper as something unrelated. It may appear as an event form, a simple agreement, or a harmless receipt. But hidden inside will be the words that give them power over you. Archangel Michael says, The hidden trap is not in the paper you expect, but in the one you overlook. That is why you must treat every document with the same level of scrutiny. Do not sign because of habit, sign only when every line is clear and true. Their smiles may fade as your resistance grows. The friendly tone may be replaced with irritation or coldness. This shift in behavior will reveal the truth more clearly than any printed word. Blessing 555. If you reach this point and still stand firm, they will begin to retreat. But retreat does not always mean surrender. Sometimes it means they are simply waiting for a different opening. You must remain alert even after they disappear from sight. The trap may resurface in a new form, a new setting, or through a different person. Patience is their ally, but vigilance will be yours. Archangel Michael says, your refusal has already broken part of their plan. The rest will crumble when you expose the truth, whether to yourself or to those who need to know. You were never meant to be bound by their paper, you were meant to see through it. Blessing 999. They begin to test your boundaries in smaller ways first. A signature here for a courier, an acknowledgement there for a meeting note, a casual initial on a draft for internal filing. Each harmless stroke is practice, a rehearsal designed to make your wrist forget the weight of consent. A day arrives when the room feels heavier than air. Chairs sit closer than last time, the table is cleared as though for a ceremony, and the paper is centered like an altar stone. You recognize the choreography and refuse to step into their rhythm. Archangel Michael says, your stillness becomes the shield they did not anticipate. You let your breath settle until the room's temperature reveals everyone's intent. Eyes glance at the clock, fingers drum, and the performance begins to slip. Blessing 777. They try a tone of disappointment to fold you into compliance. They talk about delays, about the team waiting on you, about opportunities slipping as if time itself were your enemy. But you know that urgency without clarity is another kind of fraud. A voice at the end of the table changes the lighting with a single sentence. They claim they vetted everything, that professionals reviewed it, that nothing could possibly go wrong. You hear the certainty as decoration, not protection. The paper does not move when they slide it an inch closer. Your hands remain where they are, steady as anchors on quiet water. You feel the trap blink, startled by the absence of your fear. Blessing 222. They attempt to make the document sound smaller than it is. It's just a standard release, they say, as if standards were shields against betrayal. It helps us proceed, they add, as if your future were a hallway they owned. But you have learned the shape of vague power. You know that words like assign, irrevocable, exclusive, or perpetual can become machines hidden inside paper. You recognize that a single clause can outlive the room that created it. Archangel Michael says, your awareness is a sword that cuts without noise. You notice where the sentences widen like a river to carry away more than they admit. You notice where numbers never appear, where dates float, where obligations belong to you and rights belong to them. Blessing 369. They pivot into warmth so quickly it chills the room. Compliments bloom like artificial flowers, carefully arranged and without scent. They call you visionary, reliable, integral, hoping you will trade discernment for praise. The page waits in the light for your reflection. You do not lean over it, and so it reflects only the ceiling, a flat sky, an unfinished world. Someone clears their throat as if this were a negotiation with your lungs. You answer the pressure with presence. You read an entire paragraph in silence, and silence becomes your witness. By the time you reach the end, 3 faces have learned how strong a quiet refusal can be. Blessing 111. They decide to fracture your solitude. One person escorts you to a side office, believing distance will soften your resolve. The door closes, and the soft voice returns with a smaller copy of the same snare. Here the lighting is kinder and the chair more forgiving. They place a pen horizontal across the page, like a bridge over a river you should cross. You do not touch it, and the bridge remains a stick on a shore. Archangel Michael says, the trap cannot stand where the soul is awake. Your instincts trace the hidden rails beneath the carpet of courtesy. You see where the conversation narrows your choices to 2, when in truth there are 20. Blessing 432. They push a new tactic into the air, the promise of protection. We included a clause for your safety, they say, pointing at a term that opens like a door and closes like a vault. You feel how protection becomes purchase when the language belongs to them. They offer a 1-page summary as proof of fairness. You accept the paper without accepting its claim, and you read it as a map of misdirection. The summary glows bright where the real contract is dimmest. In the gap between pages, you place a pause large enough to stand inside. You remember the time strangers tried to speed your decisions and how it tasted like fog. You decide you will never let fog speak for you again. Blessing 808. They bring in a second witness with a sympathetic face. This one carries the language of care the way a stage actor carries a prop, held well, but empty. They agree with you in small circles to lead you back to a larger yes. Their alignment feels like a mattress placed under a trapdoor. Even if you fall, they want you to believe you will land softly. But softness is no cure for gravity when the floor itself has been sold. Archangel Michael says, alignment without truth is choreography for collapse. Your spine recalls every time you betrayed yourself to make a room more comfortable. You choose discomfort for them over damage for you. Blessing 505. They reveal the incentive they saved for last. A promise with numbers, a future with ribbons, a timeline that glitters if you look at it sideways. It hums with possibility, but the hum belongs to a machine designed to harvest your consent. The numbers try to hypnotize like a road at night. You blink, and they flatten into symbols with conditions sleeping underneath. You blink again, and you see that every digit has a shadow. You place the incentive beside the cost, and the scale does not confuse you. What you might gain is not worth what you will lose. What you will lose cannot be bought back once you trade it. Blessing 313. They test the last lever, isolation by implication. They mention names you respect, implying those names moved through this same agreement without harm. You are invited to borrow another person's risk as if it were a coat that could keep you warm. But you do not know their weather, and a borrowed coat fits the wrong storms. You return the implication to the table without touching it. It lies there like a glove no one owns. Archangel Michael says, imitation is the quiet grave of the sovereign. Your road will not bargain with their shortcuts. Your future will not be leased to their ease. Blessing 414. Someone adjusts the blinds, stacking light into thin ladders across the page. The ladders do not reach anything you want to climb. You ask nothing, you answer nothing, you stand in the posture of your yes to yourself. Minutes collect like stones in a riverbed. The current slows until the room can hear itself. Their certainty begins to erode in the water you refuse to enter. A chair scrapes, a plan cracks, and the architect of the scheme exhales too hard. They do not apologize, they recalculate. You watch the recalculation dissolve when it finds no purchase on your resolve. Blessing 101. They attempt the oldest trick of compliance, paperwork fatigue. Page after page appears, some blank, some duplicated, some marked for later. The maze is meant to dull your senses and make a single wrong turn feel inevitable. You meet the maze with a compass you now carry in your chest. The arrow points to clarity, and clarity points to not here. A path exists that does not pass through their door. Archangel Michael says, walk the path that your peace can recognize. Step out with the same calm that kept you seated. Let the door handle cool under your hand as you leave. Blessing 606. They follow you into the corridor with softer words. They say they understand, that you can reconsider, that the offer will remain, just for you. You know that, just for you, is the label on a net. You answer with a sentence that returns your hours to your own name. You state you will have independent review, and independence is a dawn that floods the hallway. They squint, and the plan wilts in the daylight. You do not promise a later decision, you promise a true one. A true decision is not a delay, it is a foundation. On foundations, rooms can stand without hidden ceilings. Blessing 909. Days pass in a steadier key. Messages arrive that try to reawaken urgency with kinder fonts. You let them sit like unopened umbrellas when the sky is clear. You choose to document every exchange with your own language. Dates become anchors, times become footprints, and the narrative obeys reality. They realize the story will not be written for you, it will be written by you. Archangel Michael says, your record is a lighthouse that cannot be bought. Ships with secret cargo prefer unmarked coasts. You leave no coast unmarked where your name is expected to stand. Blessing 515. The group attempts a final theater in a public setting. They believe that an audience will pressure you to perform compliance. They forget that witnesses also watch the watchers. You listen, you allow, you do not absorb. Their case grows ornate, and ornament is heavy when there is no structure beneath it. At the end of their speech, nothing stands that can hold your future. You thank the air for teaching you its currents. Wind has no agenda except movement, and movement has taught you balance. You carry your consent like a lantern you will not hang on someone else's hook. Blessing 223. One by one, they quiet. Projects shift, meetings change, and their calendar forgets your name. For once, forgetting is a gift. You feel how much space returns when a trap leaves the room. You breathe into that space until it becomes a landscape. In that landscape, your choices walk with their own footsteps. Archangel Michael says, protection is not always a wall, sometimes it is a way. You walked the way by refusing to abandon yourself. You kept your signature for promises that keep you. Blessing 717. You revisit the page in memory and feel nothing pull at you. The hidden machines no longer hum, because they never received your power. Machines without fuel become sculpture, and sculpture cannot chase you. You read your own name in your own handwriting on a blank sheet you own. It is not a contract, it is a compass. It points toward craft, toward dignity, toward tomorrow without debt to deceit. You craft new terms with care that does not tremble. You define timelines that respect your season, responsibilities that match reality, and rights that do not vanish in footnotes. You create agreements that breathe and do not bite. Blessing 828. They try once more from a distance with a familiar chord. Another summary, another minor revision, another invitation to the same old stage. You do not attend performances when the ending is a cage. Your reply is shorter than their script and stronger than its scaffolding. It declines with kindness and contains no doorway for return. A boundary that does not apologize becomes an address where peace can find you. Archangel Michael says, "A quiet no is thunder to those who depend on your confusion." You are not confused. You are the weather that clears the sky, and you are the traveler who walks under it. Blessing 333. The plan that once felt inevitable dissolves into a lesson that will not leave you. You keep the lesson like a key on a ring, next to your other hard-won tools. Keys collected from danger unlock safer doors. Your days resume their rightful shape. Work becomes work again, not a tunnel carved toward someone else's ownership. Rest becomes rest again, not the bait for a meeting that steals your name. You learn to recognize the scent of pressure even when it wears perfume. You learn to feel the edges of any room where choices are narrowed to a funnel. You step sideways when the funnel appears, and the path widens of its own accord. Blessing 444. You meet new agreements with eyes that do not blink at brightness. Language cannot hide where you have learned to look. Clarity enters with you, and paper learns to be honest or to leave. They will speak about trust again, and you will not flinch. Trust is a bridge that two sides build, plank by plank, with nothing hidden beneath it. Where there are secret wires, you build your bridge elsewhere. Archangel Michael says, your signature is a covenant with your own future. Place it only where your future would gladly live. Place it only where your peace can read every line without squinting. Blessing 555.